Hi, this is Andrew Millis Creative, and I decided to do a review of the Allez Sprint disc because I just bought one and nobody else online has done one. I haven't seen a decent video of a disc version yet. So this is my review of the Specialized Allez Sprint disc comp. For the racer on a budget, chances are you're keeping your eyes peeled on the classified so you can daydream about the prospect of thrashing on a bargain bike that was formerly top tier. Then on the other hand, you may be considering, like many people, the upgrade to disc, but don't like the idea of shelling out for a new bike, especially if you like to ride what you can afford to replace. I'm here to tell you why the search may be over with the Allez Sprint disc, and to qualify that, I'm coming from the position of a committed CAAD 10 owner, a well-worn choice for the budget racer and aluminium lover. I'll leave it to you to look up the specs, but here in Australia at least, you can either buy a frame for about $1,700 and spec it out at cost, or you can buy the Allez Sprint Comp disc, a latest generation 105 equipped pre-build, so the R7000 series, currently for $2,500. The maths is pretty straightforward on this one. The Comp disc represents really good value if you're not too precious about the only color choice being black. So how is it? Well, the wheels leave a little bit to be desired. The hubs mostly, as they're a DT Swiss rim, so that's not too bad, but just a heavy build, so a heavy hub. I think they're a formula item from research. Sort of a no-name. Good to have a training set though, perhaps. I'm not really going to go into the 105 grip set in this review, as you've no doubt seen heaps of other reviews comparing it even to Dura-Ace, and it's amazing. It's definitely not a shortcoming of this bike, and I don't even know why you would actually upgrade it until it was worn out. That aside, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant bike, and here's why. It's comfortable. I was really pleasantly surprised with the comfort of the ride. A lot of reviewers made it seem harsh, the original Allez Sprint. That hasn't really been my experience. It's plenty comfortable enough for your 100k weekend ride at least, certainly. It's stiff. I don't just mean in the bottom bracket either. This is probably the party piece of the Allez Sprint. It's well established how stiff these bikes are through the pedals, and the stock practice cranks are definitely capable of taking advantage of that. But the thing that most impressed me was the torsional rigidity through the frame. I never noticed how flexy my CAAD 10 felt until I jumped back on it after using the Allez Sprint for a few rides. In hindsight, you can tell by looking at it, to be honest. The down tube on the Cannondale has a circumference of 16 centimeters, while the Specialized eclipses that with an 18 centimeter circumference. I'm no engineer, but I reckon that matters, and it genuinely translates to better torsional rigidity between the front and the rear. You really feel it when you're pushing through the bars in a sprint, when you're up out of the saddle. With previous bikes, I thought my stem was flexing, so I upgraded my cockpit. But even with the stock bars, stem and wheels, the through axle mated to such a robust frame is really something specialized. It's heavy. Yeah, I'd say that's mostly due to the wheels. Comparatively, it's not something that's translated into slower times or averages, but on the scales, it's pushing a good 500 grams over the 8 kilogram sweet spot, and something I noticed when doing snappy accelerations initially. A respectably light set of carbon wheels should fix this. It stops quickly, but it's not so much the speed that you notice, it's more so the confidence having discs add. And that's nothing down to the bike, just disc brakes in general. They're reliable. They're not wearing out your rims every time you brake, and they stop marginally quicker. Knowing that as you come into a turn or bomb down a hill really hard really gets in your head and makes a tangible difference. It's aero. Blah, 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 it makes no difference. Maybe it was all in my head. Maybe it's just the slightly plumper tires, but I genuinely feel like the Allez Sprint sits at speed a little bit easier than my previous non-aero bikes. They say it's as aero as the first generation Venge, which saves 22 watts at 40 kilometers per hour over the tarmac, and that's from 2011 when it was released. So take that as you will. So how does it compare to the CAAD 10? When I first got my CAAD 10, I called it a magic carpet ride because it was actually really smooth. The CAAD 10 is still slightly better than the Allez Sprint in this regard, but with the 26mm Turbo Pro tires that come fitted, which kind of look more like a 28, there really isn't much in it. The CAAD 10 has definitely been plenty stiff enough to podium at the crits. so there's nothing really lacking there, but it feels like a bit of a noodle compared to the Allez Sprint disc. The CAAD 10 has a bit of a springy quality when sprinting, and compared to the completely unyielding feedback of the Allez. How it actually stacks up in making you faster as a rider is a total guess, but it's definitely something, if not just different. And we all know that's never enough to justify buying a new bike when you're on a budget, but if you're looking at upgrading to disc, are on a budget, love aluminium, and want a frame that's capable of growing with you, as is well proven by lots of really great riders using this frame and this bike, you'd be hard pressed to go past the Allez Sprint Comp disc. And that's my verdict. So that's my review of the 2019 Specialized Sprint Comp disc. So if you like this video, please like it and consider subscribing. And look, if people like this video, I'll definitely consider doing a lot more of this kind of thing. So thanks for watching and have a great week.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, nice and solid. The bottom brake looks pretty stiff. It's good for this. Good for sprint. Disc brakes. Seat's way too low, but that's about it. Just compare seat height. No, nice bike, nice and solid. Yeah, alloy
Definitely
frame.
solid.
Yeah,
Heavy.
I like it. I like the black.
Does it get the thumbs up?
Yeah, very stealth.